She's been playing tennis since the age of 10, turned professional at the age of 14, survived a bizarre and stormy relationship with her father/coach to reach a #3 world ranking back in 1995. Busy on the Corel WTA Tour, we welcome former Australian Open champion Mary Pierce to the program. Nice to meet you, and thanks for coming on the show.
Sure.
Out in California, you're going to get busy with some tennis, but you're also considering some other things, like skydiving. There's been some talk about you doing that. What the heck's going on here?
No, I mean, I think it's important to do some other things once in a while, you know, to get your mind off of tennis and to stay fresh. So, you know, I like to have fun, I like to enjoy myself, but of course, you know, you got to be careful. Tennis is my priority. So when I have some free time, I try to do other things.
Tennis is your priority. Some have questioned that about Mary Pierce. Modeling also, you have an interest in. Now, when you saw Steffi Graf in the latest swimsuit, the SI swimsuit issue, you say, hey, maybe I'd like to try that?
I think she looked great. You know, I've done photo shoots since I'm 16. I did one runway show in Italy once, and that was a lot of fun. But I think tennis is a lot easier. I think I'll stick to that.
All right, but modeling something you would like to pursue?
Maybe in the future, you know, down the road. But I think it's pretty tough, actually. It's a tough job.
A lot more grueling, maybe, the hours that you put in tennis.
It is, yeah.
You were unseeded at this year's Australian Open, and then you reached the finals before losing to Martina Hingis, the 16-year-old phenom, the rising teen phenom. Having played pro tennis through your teen years, did it make you reflect a little bit on what you went through?
It was a weird feeling the first time I played against Martina, because I always used to be the young one. You know, I used to have that feeling that I was the young girl and everybody was older than me, and then I played against someone that was younger than me. So it was kind of weird, and I mean, it was... Did
it make you feel old? Because you're not that old.
In a way, it did almost. It made me feel like I've been out there for a while, you know, which I have. I've been on the tour for 9 years now, so, you know, I've grown up a lot, learned a lot, had a great career, and hopefully more in the future.
What advice would you have for her? She is a very confident player, and obviously, yes. What would you tell her just about, not so much her tennis game, but about making it through these teen years in this sport?
You know, it's pretty tough growing up on the tour because, you know, a lot of things happen when you're 16 to when you're 18 to when you're 20 and 30. You know, there's different phases of your life. And it's a hard thing to grow up on the tour. I think, you know, just for her to keep enjoying it, which I think she does, and I think she won't have any problem with that. She seems like a very mature girl.
By the end of the month, she'll be ranked #1, and that would be the youngest player ever to be ranked at that position. Is there a danger of going too far, too fast?
That's a tough question. You know, I could say yes and I could say no. I think if you're that good, and I think if you deserve it, and if you play well like she's been doing, then it's only natural for her to be the top-ranked player. But then to be so young, sometimes it has a lot of expectations, a lot of pressure on you very young, and which sometimes are really hard to deal with. But, you know, to me it seems like she's dealing with them fine.
Now, how did you deal with that? A different measure, but still same type of situation.
I think it's really hard. You know, you have to experience it for yourself. You know, someone could tell you, who's been there, tell you what it's like and what to do, but I think you really have to experience it all for yourself.
Now, after the Australian Open, you separated from your coach, Sven Grunwald, for what was the 3rd time. How do you explain the series of breakups?
Well, I think the coach is probably one of the most important things in a career, especially for your tennis, because that's someone that you spend most of your time with more than your family. And,
how many hours? Well, give us an idea of what you spend on an average on a week or a day with your coach.
You know, it could be hours a week. It could be maybe 70
Really?
hours, 70, 100 hours a week. I don't know.
So it's like
I never
two
counted.
full-time jobs.
Yeah, I mean, you're with the person all the time.
So you have to like them or get along with them.
Yeah, I think communication is the most important thing.
And was that lacking here?
I think that was a little bit different. You know, Sven and I had worked together quite a few times, and I think the time that we had spent away from each other last time, I think we both changed a little bit, and you know, it was just different.
How did you change? Did you grow? You more mature, or less in need of him?
I think obviously, you know, every day you learn something. At least I feel like I learn something new every day, and I think you know, since then I had matured and got more experience, and. So
time for a change. And Craig Carden, your new coach, who helped Martina Navratilova make it to #1. What can he do for your game, for you, to help you achieve that?
I think Craig is someone that, well, obviously he was with Martina for 6 years, and he's coached a few other girls on the tour, so he has a lot of experience. He knows about the game and the girls. And, you know, I think I have learned a lot as well, and I feel like I'm ready for someone that has that experience and, you know, to help me move to the next level.
Does he refer to Martina much, or do you ask about
No, not really, not just yet. We've just started working together, so I think in the beginning it's a lot of getting to know each other, really.
Now, you have one of the best power games in tennis and have had for a while, so what's holding Mary Pierce back?
I wouldn't say very much. I think on any given day, I'm able to beat anybody. I feel like, I've done it before, and I feel like I have the game to do it. The consistency has just been the problem. Why, I don't know. I think maybe that's just the difference that separates the number 1 from 3 to 7. And I'm only 22, so I feel like, I actually just feel like my career's just starting.
Really? Even though you've put 9 years in?
Yeah, I've been through a lot, and I think I've learned a lot, and I think that the experience and everything that I've learned is enabled me now to kind of look at tennis differently and my career differently, so that's why it kind of feels like I'm just starting.
The mental toughness, maybe you talk about the difference between number 1 or 3 and 7 or where people are ranked. You've actually talked to Chris Everett about this, called on her, and what types of things did she tell you?
I just basically asked Chris, how did he do it? How do you just, because she's just amazing. I think to always see her every day, she was so feminine and so poised, and just was one of the best players ever. I really admire her a lot. She's also a very great person, very successful in her life as well as a tennis player. So obviously she's someone great for me to be able to talk to, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, so feminine and so poised, that kind of caught my ear. Were those two things very important to you playing professional tennis?
Well, I think, playing tennis is a sport, and it's an aggressive thing. But also, I think it's important to, like I said, to be feminine. We're women, and poised, to present ourselves well. Because we are entertaining in a way. People come to tennis because they like the sport, they like to be entertained, or else they wouldn't come. So
is that why you wore the open back dress at the was that last year's French Open? That created quite a stir.
It did. I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't expect anything, really. I don't do those kind of things to wait and see the reaction of people, I do it because I enjoy fashion, and I like, doing different things. And, I like to be able to talk to the designers, and I think Nike's a great company. And for me, an athlete, to be able to do that and help in designing is just a lot of fun.
All right, we'll continue with Mary Pierce later. We'll have her size up this year's French Open. We'll also discuss how she overcame her overbearing father, who was also her coach at the time, and how she's dealing with that today. We're up close with Mary Pierce. We'll have more from Los Angeles in a moment. Don't go away.
Music Express, voted #1 by the National Limousine Association, has offices in Los Angeles and on the East Coast. Music Express can handle your corporate needs anywhere in the U.S. and worldwide. And guests of Up Close stay at the Beverly Prescott, L.A.'s premier boutique hotel. Call your travel agent to make reservations at the Beverly Prescott, a Kimpton hotel.
We're back with Mary Pierce, currently ranked 12th on the WTA Tour. Recently, Mary's father, Jim Pierce, took her to court alleging that she owes him thousands of dollars in coaching and management salary. But back in 1992, the WTC passed what informally became known as the Jim Pierce rule, in which an agent, parent, or coach could be banned from any or all tour events for his or her courtside conduct. In 1993, Pierce was banned from the WTA Tour. Later that year, Mary filed for a restraining order against her father, declaring he had made terroristic threats against her life. We're back up close talking with Mary Pierce. And let me first just ask you how difficult it was to make a decision to actually file a restraining order against your own father.
It's a difficult thing to do, and it's a difficult, topic to talk about, because it is your father and it's a personal thing. And all personal things are private. Anything, my life is in the public eye. Anything that I feel that is, personal to me, I like to keep private, because there's not many things that I can. No, it's a difficult thing to do.
You would rather that this never have come out, that your father was abusive toward you and caused these kinds of problems, but you couldn't help it, obviously, if he's your coach and he's following you around tennis events.
I think, I don't regret anything that happened. I don't think if I didn't train and do what I did in the past, I don't think I'd be here today. But I think that there were certain things that, certain decisions that had to be made, and I think that they were the right ones to do.
You made those decisions on your own. Where was your mother through all this, and how much did you have to turn to her through this?
She was always right there by my side. She's a very strong person, and, also thanks to her is why I'm here today.
Are you limited on what you can say about your relationship with your father because of the current lawsuit?
Yeah, well, I'd rather not comment too much.
To some degree, because for legal reasons, or you're just uncomfortable talking about it?
I'd just rather not for the moment. You know, I think maybe now is not a good time.
It's something I know you'd like to put behind you, and you want to be thought of as Mary Pierce, the tennis player, and yet, obviously, when your name comes up, this is what we hear about, and this is what we're curious about. Do you realistically see a day when people will be able to look at you as the tennis player and not associate your father's incident?
Yes and no. I think yes, because I think I've proved myself as a tennis player. I've won a Grand Slam tournament, which for me is, you know, a major goal of any tennis player. And also no, because it's also part of my life. You know, I grew up on the tour, and I came on the tour when I was 14, and you know, my father was such a strong figure, and everybody, you know, saw that, and my life was always in the public eye. So that's something that will always be there, and people will remember. You know, which is part of my life, but also they'll know that I was a strong person to go through these things, and a great tennis player. Yeah,
so it made you tougher. Did it make you tougher on the court playing tennis, or was it a distraction? Did it actually cost you games, matches?
A little bit of both.
Yeah?
A little bit of both.
And how did you deal with it?
You just try to be strong and just, you know, go on the court and just give your best, you know. For every point, and you know, I love tennis. You know, that's why I play, and that's why I'm still playing, and that was just the thing for me. I got on the court and I just loved it.
Did you ever reach a stage where you thought about not playing tennis?
I think that happens to everybody in their job. Maybe there's some days you think,
yesterday, as a matter of fact, we had some
I don't want to go to the studio today, you know, but I think that's normal with everybody. You know, sometimes you get a little tired, or sometimes, oh, I don't want to go
but never
today,
seriously to the point where you just thought, because it was more a part of your life with your father tennis, you just said, it's really not worth it all.
No, I've only ever thought of, like, oh, I need a break. You know, things like that. You know, you take a break, you take a week or something off, and then you're ready to go back.
Were you able to take those breaks, or was there pressure to still get better, to work at it, to devote yourself?
Well, I'm pretty hard on myself, you know, and I always feel like I can be doing better and better. But, you know, I think it's also, you know, rest is as important as training. And, you know, I've learned to realize that. And so, you know, I take some time off. It's very hard because we don't really have an off season. Right. And we have tournaments every week, and you have to keep training every day to, you know, to stay in shape. But it's very important to take some time off, too.
When you look back, age 10, picking up a racket, right, and then turning pro at 14, would you have rather waited a little bit? Do you feel like you missed out on some normal lifetime, for lack of a better description?
Well, like I said, you know, I don't really regret anything I did, but, the big but, yes. I would have probably liked to have stayed in school, definitely, because, you know, you're only young once. You only, you know, grow up once. You only are 14, 15, 16, around kids your own age. You only have the prom once, you know, things like that I didn't do, which I would have liked to have done.
Right. You know? I'm sure you've made up for that in other ways.
Well, definitely. I mean, winning the Australian Open was the best feeling of my life.
If you had a daughter and she wanted to play tennis or enjoyed playing tennis, would you be cautious about letting her play at a young age?
Yeah, I mean, I think that if she wanted to play tennis or any sport, I wouldn't hold her back at any age. You know, let her go, let her develop herself and or himself, and you know, help them the best that I can and support them.
Yeah, well, when you also look back to the college years, did it distract you from tennis, thinking about, well, if I wasn't playing tennis, I would be doing this either in high school or in college? I'd be out with my friends, I'd be going to a prom even. You didn't go to a prom, did you?
No, I never did.
Well, that's kind of sad.
Well, yeah, it is. And, you know, I kind of lived through it with my friends. You know, I asked them, you know, how was it, or, you know, what did you do, things like that, you know.
And the pressure of your life being so public, so young, I mean, you talked a little bit about you'd rather not. I mean, you know, how do you handle that?
Can you repeat that again?
Just how do you handle having your life being made so public at a young age when really you're growing up and people are kind of watching your every move?
I think I really didn't notice it when I was that young. I was just so into, you know, going to the tournaments and just practicing and playing and trying to, you know, win and do my best that I didn't really realize it until little by little it all catches up to you.
And tennis, was it ever not fun for you?
Yeah, I mean, there were some times when I was on the court until midnight or whenever, just really late. And sometimes, you know, I wish that, oh, I could go to bed or something like that. But there was never any really feelings like, oh, I hate this or I don't want to do this. I always loved it, but, you know, and I still do. But, you know, there's hard times. You have to go through hard times to have the good ones, too.
Right, to make it all worthwhile. All right, we'll continue with Mary Pierce. So we'll talk about the pressure of being French and playing in the French Open. We're up close with Mary Pierce. We'll have more in a moment. Don't go away. Welcome back. We're talking with Mary Pierce. We're talking tennis and other things. Nick Bollettieri, the fine coach, said that, and he worked with you for a while, that you needed to cut back on the night clubbing and focus more on your training to be a great tennis player. Do you agree with that? Is that accurate?
No, not at all. Someone asked me just a while ago, they said, are you a party animal? And I was like, if going out maybe 3 times a year is a party animal, then okay, sorry.
3 times a year?
I mean, I don't count, but I think that, like I said before, resting, enjoying life, and working hard, those are 3 things that are very important. And you got to be healthy, you got to enjoy life, and you got to have fun.
So you don't have trouble devoting yourself to tennis versus enjoying the life out there?
Not at all. No, there's a saying, and it says, the goal is only as worthy as the effort you put in. And that's totally true. If you give everything you have and then you achieve your goal, it's the best feeling in the world.
But didn't you admit to Chris Everett, you talked about talking to her, that your concentration sometimes on the court goes in and out, and the focus, there isn't enough of it there to keep it going.
Well, that's what I was saying before about the consistency. You know, it makes a difference from the top players. And I feel like I have the game to do it. It's just that sometimes it's the day in and day out. You know,
so
you got to be there every day.
How do you improve that or get to that level?
Just the effort to try and keep doing it when you feel yourself, you know, your concentration slipping a little bit, or you just got to, you know, try and concentrate and try and keep focusing, and then little by little it gets better and better.
The next major, the French Open at the end of May, you lost in the finals of that tournament in '94, currently the highest-ranked French woman. Is there more pressure on you to win this event because you are French?
Definitely. I think it's my dream to one day hopefully win Roland Garros. You know, playing against the hometown crowd in Paris over there is a great feeling, but also it's a lot of pressure. It's a very hectic city for me to be in. Paris, so there's a lot of demands on me. So it's a hard tournament for me to play because I always try to do too much, too good. You know, I always want to play so well there.
So more important to win than any major?
Definitely.
More than Wimbledon?
Hopefully, before the end of my career, I can win the French Open.
You'll have a few. Now, interesting that you were born in Canada, grew up, spent a lot of time growing up in the United States, and are a French citizen. Do you ever get caught up in where your loyalties really lie? Who's ever being nicest to you that week, I guess?
No, I was born in Canada. I never spent very much time there. Went back to Montreal where I was born because there's a tournament there. Got to see the city where I was born, which is, of course, very interesting for me. You know, raised in the States, raised in Florida, so I feel very American, but I also have family in France, and I spend a lot of time there in Paris. So, you know, I feel at home in both places. I love both countries, so I feel very lucky. All
right, and coming up, we got the State Farm Everett Cup. Now, Steffi Graf out until April, not involved, but Monica Seles will be playing. You'll be active there. And with Martina Hingis and having that #1 ranking at the end of the month, with those other 2 players, I mean, does she really fit in that category? Who is the best female tennis player in the world today?
That's hard to say. You know, I think that's why, women's tennis is coming back again. It's getting very, very exciting, especially for me as a player. There's a lot of girls that are playing really well. So, you know, it's very exciting to see every week that there's a new person who's in the finals or winning a tournament. And Martina is playing great, you know, so we'll see what happens.
It'd be nice to see you in the finals, too.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, good luck. You kind of developed your own little up-close rooting section here. We'll be cheering for you. Thanks for coming by, all right?
Thank you.
And come see us again, all right?
Okay.
Want to see you in that swimsuit issue. All right. We thank Mary Pierce for being with us. We'll see you Wednesday with Jose Canseco. Thanks a lot for watching. Take care.